Life is so busy, if you blink, you can miss something amazing. It's important to take a moment and enjoy what we have and the people around us. I'm Mo Hagan, Chief Operating Officer for CanFit Pro, and welcome to A Moment with Mo, a podcast where I will welcome some incredible guests to talk fitness and nutrition, mindset and self-improvement, setting your goals into action, and much, much more. Now let's get chatting. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 5, A Moment with Mo. This month, we're going to dig deep into the world of team building and explore the similarities between creating a highly effective team and growing a flourishing garden. Of course, like nourishing your plants and your flowers in the spring and summer, building a successful team also takes the same sort of patience and persistence, passion and purpose, and a little bit of magic, or as the gardeners would say, a green thumb. I used to be one of those gardeners, and I'm always excited about this time of year to get out with nature and also to get serious with business in general. I've always believed that teamwork makes the dream work. I know you may have heard that quote, but it's not just a quote. It's truly a model for leaders in the future and the way we work today. So this does apply, however, not just to your work, but every aspect of your life. And so much has changed about the way we work today. One of my favorite books is The Future of Work, and it really does tap into the way that we look at work and how it's evolving, transforming, and changing rapidly due to many things that we're going to touch upon today. But we're really going to dive into one of the reasons that work has changed, the model itself. Reasons due to things including technological advancements, the rapidly change that is because of technological advancements and the shifting societal norms. With the rise of automation and remote work and the gig economy, and we're going to dive into the gig economy in a moment with my guest today, we're going to talk about why the 9-to-5 traditional job is not solely single model of work that exists today. In today's episode, we're going to talk about some of these trends that are shaping the future of work. We're going to talk about the flexible workday model, of course, the rise in automation that really taps into the way people want to work from their phone. That is the social selling platform today, emphasis on skills over degrees as more employers are prioritizing the skills and experience over formal education. And of course, the continued rise of the soft skills that were once upon a time called soft skills, but today are known as the essential skills. And I'm speaking about the power of your communication and EQI. That is called EQI, but it stands for emotional intelligence. And those are things that include how we communicate, but how we think and feel about the way that we interact with others, how we bring our empathy and our listening skills and our passion for people, not just processes. The two together is what makes the magic happen. Lastly, we're going to talk about the gig economy. And if you're not familiar with that term, it has been on the rise as a really essential way in which the new generations and even those generations like my own and my guests today were open to this new model of work, and for the reasons that we're going to talk about. This is, of course, described as the rise in freelance and contract work. So more workers are opting for these flexible work arrangements, how they work, when they work, and who they work with. And employers are recognizing the benefits associated with this and seeking more ways to work with freelancers or contractors rather than with full-time employees. Now, I'd like to say the magic is the combination of both, but hey, it's whatever helps move your business and your life forward. So with that, I'm thrilled to welcome my guest today, Tosca Reno. I'm going to bring her in. Hi, Tosca.
Hello, Maureen. Nice to be with you again.
Oh my gosh, my friend, it is always great to be with you. And I am so excited to talk about the new gig economy and why you're in it. And of course, talk about you and your incredible journey. I'd love to introduce you if I can. And then the first question we're going to dive
Mhm.
into is to hear more about your journey, because I'm going to just touch the surface. And I'm grateful to have met you along your journey, but you're going to fill in even some of those missing stories about who you are and what brings you to where you are today. So
Thank you.
let's first of all start with a little bit. I'm going to try and touch the surface of who Tosca is and why I'm speaking with Tosca today. Tosca is not only a colleague and a mover in the fitness and wellness industry, but Tosca is a dear friend and a business partner, and we'll learn more about that. So, Tosca Reno, a renowned author, speaker, wellness expert, is here today because Tosca is a trailblazer in this gig economy and is building successful teams to help not only her own business, but many thousands of others thrive in this dynamic work environment. As a Canadian author, motivational speaker, wellness and fitness expert, you have made an amazing impact in the fitness and wellness world. Tosca was raised in a household, and this is what I find so real, but also fascinating. Your upbringing was in an environment that didn't prioritize healthy eating, and you struggled with your weight and your self-esteem throughout your teenage years and early adult years, and you share that story, and that is what makes you so humble, and also what attracts people to you is because of your emotional intelligence to understand that that's what connects people to you, not just all the things that you have achieved. Let me tell you a little bit about your achievements so people do know who you are, and that is in your early adulthood, you decided to take control of your own health. You started working out. You worked out regularly. You followed a clean eating diet, which has been part of your philosophy since the early days. You not only gained your health, but you actually transformed your physique and became a fitness competitor.
Mhm.
Tosca won numerous competitions, became a certified personal trainer, and of course went on to write her first book as a New York Times bestseller, The Eat Clean Diet. The book outlines Tosca's philosophy about eating whole, unprocessed foods to nourish the body and to promote weight loss and optimal health. The success of this book led to Tosca writing many additional books. And this is what helped create the Eat Clean movement. Many of you might know Tosca as the Eat Clean Queen. That's what we love to call her because that's what you are. And Tosca's dedication to health and to fitness and wellness has earned Tosca recognition and accolades, including being named one of the top 10 women in health and fitness by CanFit Pro. You received the Trailblazing Award from the Canadian Association of Professional Speakers. And today, Tosca continues to inspire others to live healthy lifestyles through your writing, speaking engagements, global business, and social media presence. Let's top this off by saying that your passion, Tosca, for health and wellness has helped countless individuals. That was the only word I could find because it's thousands and thousands to transform their lives, take back control of their health, achieve their goals, and make fitness and wellness part of their self-care. So welcome, Tosca. I'm so honored to have you here today.
Well, thank you for that very generous introduction. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, you are a generous human, and so you deserve a generous introduction. So I would love to start by
Mm.
inviting you to
Mhm.
share with us your journey. And of course, it's been truly,
Ah,
truly colorful. And
mhm.
I'd love it to perhaps trailblaze a summary of your journey, what has brought you to where you are today. And then let's finish that story or journey off to what has led you to work within this new gig economy business model. Let's start
All
there.
right. Okay. Well, if we go back to the beginning, my own relationship with food was quite challenged. My parents did their best as immigrants to nourish us, but really my own aberrations about food were developed because it was a dysfunctional home for a period of time, and then I married a dysfunctional first husband who provided me with lovely children and a fierce warrior attitude because one day that overeating did get to a place where I was going to go upstairs to say goodnight to my three beautiful, very young daughters, and I literally collapsed on the stairs because my heart was pounding out of my chest. I was overweight, unwell, unhappy, and miserable. And it was, to borrow a term from Oprah Winfrey, that aha moment that made me realize, with my head on the stairs and sweat breaking out of my forehead, I can't continue like this, because if I don't change something, I'll never be able to make it up any sets of stairs to take care of my children. And that was a galvanizing moment for me. It was the fire that I needed to look for a new direction, look for new information, new ideas to help me become something new. And that's when I started. I believe at the time I was 38, 39, and transitioning out of a very dysfunctional situation, knowing that I would also have to make the difficult choice of leaving the girl's father. Did all of that. I did it all. The common thread became not just weight loss, but me going to the gym and moving my physical body, which was a new term because, I had those old dumbbells filled with sand that were just basically holding doors open in the past. Now those dumbbells opened a new door for me entirely when I realized, my goodness, I can shape a physique. I can take this lump of flesh and turn it into something spectacular, which is the intention when you're born, to show up in that beautiful human form. It was just me that messed it up. And though I became fit in that aspect, what I did not, or had not been exposed to yet, was this concept of eating clean, and how deeply, deeply connected what we eat is to how we look and feel. And at the time, I was 85 pounds overweight, so I had a lot of weight to lose. And that was why I was having heart palpitations and blood sugar dysregulation and even depression. And when I put the pieces together of exercise and eating clean, a revolution was born. And I basically revolutionized myself, but changed everything about who I was and how I showed up in the world. So that was the beginning.
Wow.
And I had a meteoric rise, really, if you want to call it, to acclaim, whereby I did create the first book in the Eat Clean series in January 2007. It was launched in Canada, and within a week, it became a national bestseller. And very soon after, I became an international and global and New York Times bestselling author with several other books in the series. Had a TV show on the Oprah Network, which basically documented my journey into fitness and competing on stage, on a world stage. So that was kind of fun. Landed multiple oxygen covers with that esteemed magazine, met the new love of my life, and had a wonderful journey with him for 10 years. And then, Maureen, the bottom fell out. And literally, that's why I began to seek new answers, new directions, new information for my next new phase of life.
Powerful. I've heard your story many times because I'm blessed to have the opportunity to work with you. And every time I hear it, it brings tears to my eyes, but at the same time, it brings me excitement and confirmation, because you've proven it not once, but more than once, how you
More than
can
once.
rise from the ashes and rise from such a dark place. And but yet the message is the same, that you made that
I
decision.
did.
And you've created this resilient mindset and body. And you've helped so many others who have their own story, but yet your courage to share yours is what's inspired them to live their life. And as you say, we're all blessed to be born with a beautiful,
Mm,
beautiful vessel to show up in this
right.
world. But we're the ones that mess it up. We're also the ones that need to fix it, or
Yeah.
to change or transform it. And so thank you for sharing that. And I love the message as well. And there is truly much more to tell about your journey
Mhm.
with Robert, and how that really also moved you to have to look at a different way to build your business as a
I did.
result.
I did. Because it
Mhm.
felt like for a while I was living the Cinderella life. I did have a meteoric rise to this kind of new place in my life that I never could have foreseen, lying on the couch eating gallons of ice cream in my former broken life. But I do think it's when we're at that inflection point, like a check mark at the bottom of the check mark, when you're at the lowest of the low points, that is your greatest opportunity for growth. And I was really forced to find answers because I did not want to continue life as it had been for me. So meeting Robert was like the up part of the check mark, and things really began to climb upwards. But if you know anything about Joseph Campbell and the hero's journey, you know that the prime character slash me had to have a few more lessons. And so I did hit a period of deep pain starting in 2011. Everything came crashing down when my stepson died from tragic consequences from a car accident. And then a year later, that was followed by losing Robert to cancer very suddenly. And he was the love of my life. This was a man who showed me not just how to be in my best physical body, but he also showed me what true love was, something that I hadn't really experienced yet. And with him, through him, we did, all of this Eat Clean work in the Oxygen magazine and built this incredible empire. And with his passing, that empire came crashing down. And I literally had nothing. There were times after his passing where I didn't know that I was going to be able to pay the bills. The financial empire he had built was all an illusion. And the money that I had made with the sales of my books had gone mysteriously in the direction of other places, which is on me. So, Maureen, I was forced to really look in a different direction to restore not only my confidence, but my financial health. My physical and my nutritional health didn't falter because those were things that I'd found that were keystones of my wellness journey. But the financial piece, I just, I had no information there. So I began to go on a new path to find new ways to generate income. And that's where you and I got connected.
That's right. That's right. And I'm so grateful to have been able to meet you on your journey at that point, because, and this is what leads to one of my favorite quotes, but it is so important that we connect with people, and we sometimes don't know why it is that we've met someone or they enter into your life or you into theirs. I always believe that there's a reason why, and it's about trusting in your sense, your gift. So when I met you, I had met you, of course, on stages and watched you present, unfortunately not compete, but I did see and follow your journey there. But when we met, it was through an opportunity, a business opportunity, and introducing you to something that you weren't yet familiar with. And my favorite quote is by a hero herself, Helen Keller. And this is a great segue because the connection we had has helped us bring us to where we are today. Helen, one of her most renowned quotes is, "Alone, we can do so little. Together, we can do so much." And I love that quote. The quote is
Beautiful.
perfectly captures. Yeah. I think you'd agree. The power of working together as a team versus working alone. And of course, we're both very independent, self-sufficient in what we do, but it's really important that we take what are our strengths and capabilities and recognize that when we work together, we can find those who complement our strengths and capabilities.
Yes.
And this other quote we hear, and it's not at all, it's really a motto for how we can move our businesses and lives forward, is also the sense of when you go alone, you might be able to go faster because you have that sense of control. But when you go together, you go further. And that's what I feel that we've been able to do with what we're doing together, which we'll talk a little bit more. But really, the purpose here is to talk about the power of teamwork and how a team can accomplish more with the sum of its parts than with just, one of its parts. And so it does serve as a reminder for all of us about the collaboration of working together in whatever business model or environment that you're in.
Exactly.
So Tosca, comment on how, because you've come from different business models. Let's comment, if you may, on what working together on a team has done to serve you in your life, and also with your present business, building it not only on a local level, but on a global level. So comment about that, if you may.
Well, literally, for a person who is an author, so I call myself an author, New York Times bestselling author, you don't write a book all by yourself. I mean, I do write the book by myself, but a book is not produced by one single person. There's a whole team of people who create that end product. And I call it very much like having a baby, because you have this inception of an idea, which is create the creative process. Then you begin to build it over time. It usually takes multiple months. And then after that, you need to take that book out into the world and give it life. So that all happens with a team. I can't do that all by myself. And often I say, listen, I leave the professional stuff to the pros. I can do this piece, but I recognize that I need to depend on others to do the graphics, the editing, the whatever it is. And so I do enjoy working in a team environment. And then that led me to explore other options for teamwork. Now, I didn't know about the opportunity that you and I both are participating in now, thankfully, because I had a team, an engaged team, which means I also had friends who saw fit to introduce me to this notion of, wow, new concept, leveraged income. In the past, I had earned income by trading my presence for money. In other words, I would appear on TV, I would sell books, I would do speaking engagements where I physically had to show up and do the work. But in 2012, actually, when my husband passed, he left as my agent, my former agent, my publishing empire in decline, because a year later I had to declare bankruptcy. So I felt the entire house of cards come down all around me because I only had one stream of revenue.
Mm.
So the decade that followed for me was looking for a new team, a new family, a new way to build financial resilience. And that requires multiple streams of revenue. We learned, Maureen, as many as at least 3 to 5. So big news for me, big information. And yet I was hungry to learn how to capitalize on that and begin the teamwork journey.
Hmm. And that's so, it's the teamwork creates the dream, makes the dream
Mhm.
work, and it has. And what I love about you again is this humbleness towards being open minded to new ways to do work. And that is truly what they refer to in the future of work, is looking for new ways to work, not
Mhm.
just how you as a leader work, but how you choose to work in an environment that provides you also your preference or way to work, because
Yeah,
you still choose to trade your presence to be on stages and to write books
true.
and to do what you love there,
Yeah.
not have to leave it 100%, but add that or
Mhm.
diversify the ways
Mhm.
that you work. And that's what's been
Yeah.
most exciting. I can't believe it's been a decade now. Wow.
Just celebrated Robert's anniversary of passing. It's been 11 years on
11.
the 12th of April. Yeah, so we're
Wow.
it's been quite a journey.
Quite a
It,
journey.
yeah. And it forced me, really in a good way. Like this is when we have something called free will or choice, right? You have the opportunity when difficult times hit you to say, oh, woe is me, life is terrible, I'm flat out on the ground, I got to start drinking and numbing myself in some way. Or you choose the other and realize what happened to me happened for me, and I'm a person who is by heart entrepreneurial, and I began to explore, like, okay, what is it I need to know or learn about this deeply informative yet painful experience? Clearly I was lined up for this by the universe to pay attention. So I have gone deep into that part of myself over the last several years.
Mm, powerful, powerful insights and nuggets. I
Mhm.
love to call it the, golden tickets of insight. And I hope everyone is sort of even taking notes, because I love, you're so eloquent when you share your experience, but also the lessons learned in those experiences. Because if there's not those lessons that we can
Mm.
take to move ourselves forward, then what is the experience truly there for? So
More,
again, it's a
yeah,
choice.
Maureen, I had that deeply recently. For those who know a little bit about my story, my mother passed away on the 4th of March, and my mother was my person. When I
Mm,
became a widow, she was already a widow, and that enhanced, if you will, or enriched our experience because we could relate on so many levels about the experience of being in
Mm.
life as a single person, a single woman, a widowed woman. And so the the loss of Robert really gave me the opportunity to enrich my life with my mother. But when my mother was passing and then ultimately did pass, I had this moment of clarity. And I remember praying beside her bed when I was holding her hand at the very last moments to Hymns of the 49th Parallel by Katie Lang. It was just a beautiful, glorious moment with the morning sun. And I could hear the last breath, her breath leaving her, her life force. And I just had a prayer in my head. Thank you, God, for allowing me to bear witness to this experience with my whole heart and to not be present in fear, but to be present in love and to not waste the meaning of my mother's existence for me in this life. So that set me on another path of integrating and processing those lessons and her meaning. And at the very end, when she was almost not able to speak anymore, she pulled me close and she touched her heart and she said, Tosca, I gave you the best part of me. I gave you my lion heart. And she's touching her heart weakly, but she's doing her best. And I can tell it's effort for her. And she said, go out and live your best you, your biggest you. You can do it. And this was her purpose, her gift to me. And I have been living in that presence of knowledge in mind
Mm.
for these days since her passing.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Powerful.
Yeah,
Oh, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I know that it's been quite raw and
it's fresh.
recent and
Yeah,
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 but it's also what we've witnessed through that is it is I can empathize. It brings me back to the same morning with my mother and when she
mhm,
passed. So it brings back those memories, which are 30 years ago now. And
mhm.
but those moments will cherish, and not only that, but it seems to have given you even bigger jolt of
Yes,
electricity to live your life to your fullest and put yourself out there as the Tosca that we know and love, and that you know that people want to be around. Not only your you as a teacher, but also you as a role model for them in their life, which is amazing. And thank you.
thank
What
you.
I really want to acknowledge is how you took the time and you took that time for your own self care. And that is
Mhm,
one of the most powerful traits of transformational leaders
mhm,
today.
mhm.
So we talk about teamwork, but we also need to speak about how leaders show up for their team, but
Mhm.
also how team members should and can show up for each
Yeah.
other. And that's truly what makes the
Wow.
team work is leadership. So I'd love you to share
Yeah.
how do you lead? But let's start with how does Tosca ensure that she shows up in that brilliant presence that you chose to take charge of early in your life, but to lead your team? What is your philosophy around self care? I know it's a big part of your
Yeah.
philosophy in your
Yes.
business, but
Yes.
tell us about your ways you take care of you to be the leader that you are and you, of course, desire to be.
Um, Maureen, I think you and I are so entwined in this. We follow similar principles of self-care because I believe you can only be a leader from the front. In other words, the things that you do as a person and slash leader are the things that others see too. So I can't speak about a thing that I don't do. And the things that I believe in and that I use to structure the keystone foundational elements of my wellness lifestyle include hydration, meditation, journaling, physical exercise, eating clean, and always leading by reading. So that these things, I don't have to look at my Coles notes to remember what to say to you, Maureen. They're my DNA. And I know that they're your DNA too, because we've also had the privilege to travel together. And I've seen you in the gym when we're even on vacation. We make training a priority. We make eating clean a priority. We make taking care of ourselves a priority. This is not a thing that's negotiable in my world. And I love what's happening now as a grandmother to two, almost three little ones. The what is she going to be 7 this year, and the 4-year-old, when I'm in the gym working out, they're with me. Oh, ma, and they want to see about the weights and make themselves strong, and they know how to pose out their biceps. And so this is what I believe is the great gift. So, Maureen, much like yourself, I believe, because you're so much on the public stage as well. Our purpose, if we're in question about it as human beings on this planet, is to always be evolving and to elevate and pull in the light. So we become vessels of light. And what is light but love and knowledge? And so for me, pulling in that knowledge and becoming more and more a vessel of light is how we attract others to work with us. And that spreads out into this teamwork that you're talking about, whereby when we are leaders with compassionate hearts, we have room for others. We know how to play with things like forgiveness and passion and grace and understanding. And so when my mom was passing, even though I'm building a business in multiple streams of revenue, including the gig economy that we work in, Maureen, I had a team who could help me while I was unable to do the work myself, and my business did not falter. And that's what a team gives you. It gives you a safety net. It gives you a new family, a place to be with your full self without fear.
Wonderful. Beautiful. Oh my gosh. You have I feel the need for you to create a platform for what you just said. Or maybe it's a time to write a different type of book, Tosca, because you just
You're
have
right,
so much.
Maureen.
Yeah, it's really that
Mhm.
transformational leadership, but starts within. And your story of transformation
Mhm. Mhm.
and how you give others permission to do the same and to rise is epic, but also needs to be shared even more. So again, we talk about a gig economy, the way to work and to be
Yeah.
flexible about what you do, when you do it, how you do it, and who you work with and choose to work with. So thank you for sharing that.
So may I share something? Because
Yeah.
we just had a moment here. It's a moment. Okay. So I'm going to just tap right into this for a second. You just proved what we do need to do as human beings. We do need to intersect paths with others who are leaders. And in my mind lately, I have been thinking I need to write a book, but not a book about eating clean. It needs to be the transformational journey. You just validated that for me. So these are the moments
Moments.
that are the gifts that come from placing yourself directly in the path of this kind of nourishment, this light, this creativity. So thank you.
Oh my. I think we could just stop right there. That is the lesson right there to inspire everyone to grow their garden of life by planting seeds and cultivating the growth of
Mhm.
relationships
Mhm.
and taking risks, reaching out, connecting with like minded people who will join your team, or you join their team, or you work interconnectively on individual teams, but together everyone can rise. And I am so honestly, I need to take my jacket off because I've just got this surge of electricity, but I won't, but I
You got a
will.
jolt.
I got a jolt. I thank you for that. I made a coffee and I didn't even drink it. So thank you. Who needs it? It's also decaf. But I'd love to I'd love to ask you two
Mhm.
big important questions. The
Yes.
first one is advice for others
Mhm.
who may be exploring the gig economy or looking to join a team or build a team. That's the
Right.
first question. And then the next one, I'll hold for a moment, but it will help us wrap up today's podcast.
So, in answer to that, I would start with going back to something that I think is a critical element of self knowledge, sovereignty over self, which is, if I'm going to do the gig economy, let me pursue it in an area that I love. In other words, you can't do a gig economy selling motor oil if it's not your jam. And Maureen and I love what we do in the gig economy because it aligns with our personal brand. So that feels true to us, and it just becomes a natural out, uh, if you will, formation, outcropping of what we do anyway. So,
Mhm.
you're just multiplying your effort very naturally, very easily. And so I would start there. But then also I would say, gig economy can sometimes generate a little bit of like a, I got a feeling in my stomach, like, I don't know about this. And I would say that that's an invitation for you to crack open the code and look deeper, because the things you thought about gig economy in the past are very different. And I'm going to tell you, it is the booming industry of our time. Do not forget, and do not be too afraid to close your mind to what's possible for you here, because it can change lives. And it's certainly changed mine.
I love it. Yes, of course. And that's great philosophy for anything in life that we may face that gives us that sense of fear. And of course, you and I both know that fear and excitement are the same emotion until your brain interprets it. So, whatever it is, even if it is the opportunity to,
Mhm.
reach out to us and find out what we're working on and understand a little bit more, seek to build knowledge around the gig economy work model, look at it. And then when you feel that fear, do it anyways, because really
Yeah.
it's excitement, and it's excitement to learn more. And I love it because I went through this journey with you when we first talked about this business model, and we both had fear. I had fear sharing it with you.
A
I
lot.
had, yeah, but together we actually decided to
Yeah.
go through this path and walk through the door together. But that's the teamwork that made it easier to
To be
go through those.
fearful and do it
Yeah,
anyway.
and do it
Yes.
anyways. It's
Yeah.
so much easier to face fear when you're
Mhm.
not feeling alone, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I want to also acknowledge something between us, because this will happen when you are working with people you care about, is it won't always be seamless. And that's a sign of growth, is when you can persist in your growth experience, whether you've had a bump, or I call it an emotional concussion, between people or not. You have to be able to speak this truth, because again, these are opportunities for us to evolve as people. And I always say, from an emotional concussion comes emotional growth. So I know you and we've experienced those bumps, and yet here we are as women who respect each other in leadership, in the work that we do, in our guidance, and in our gig economy businesses.
Yeah. The I'd love to add, and you mentioned the bump in the road, the emotional concussion. I don't know why I think of it as, like, of course, momentum, Mo. I'm
Sure.
always I'm always on the move. So when I'm on the move and I face a roadblock, I'm like, yeah, I could wait until that roadblock is removed. I could turn around and go home. Or I could figure out how to get over that roadblock. Either go around, it might take a little longer, it might be a little
Yeah,
harder, but that's always where the juicy nuggets of learning and
that's
experience
right.
takes place. But here's the thing I'd love to say, and this is a true example of you and I, and the people we surround ourselves with, is that on the days that we're having those not so magnificent moments, that's when we actually ask for help and others lift
Hmm.
us up, and then
That's
we
true.
lift others up. And as long as, that's what, again,
That's
the
true.
power of a team. Together, everyone achieves more. It's
Yeah,
just, of course, the trust and that knowledge of how a team can help everyone rise, not just yourself. There's no I in team, right?
no, no. To use your garden philosophy, those are fertilizer moments.
Ah, that is very good. Love it. All right. So, Tosca, my last question to
Mm.
you, and then we'll wrap up and leave you with a couple of fertilizer nuggets of knowledge to close off. What are you working on this year, Tosca, that is calling on your courage to grow your career, your business, your life?
I'm working on new intentions that I've set for myself for my own personal growth. So that includes diving further into greater platforms for public speaking. I'm also
Oh,
working on a new book, which we have had a validating moment right here live on this broadcast. So that's been fun, because it's an affirmation. And also, I have just switched my marketing team. So I'm in the middle of lots of new, what would I call this? New productivity, new inspiration for my community. I'm very committed to providing the best for my community. I'm looking for a home. I'm actually building a home. So, having gone from complete bankruptcy, not personal, but to otherwise, to being completely debt free, I want to acknowledge that, well, as a sign of health as well, and being able to build a new home. So, I'm working on
oh,
those things, and I'm looking for romance.
oh. Well, you deserve it all. You deserve it all, my friend.
Thank
And
you.
thank you for sharing your inspiration with myself. I feel like I've had just a jolt of, I'll call it therapy because I'm a physio. So when I get this sense of healing
Mm,
or awareness of how to heal myself, I call it therapy. So thank you
mhm,
for that. I hope everyone that is here with us and listening and viewing this broadcast, I hope you're inspired equally, and this will give you a jolt to take action towards building your own team or joining a team that can help move you, your career, your business, your life forward. And of course, we talked so much about the foundation of building a team and how that will help you not feel alone,
mhm,
but move further with a team that you can
mm,
support and complement your strengths with. And of course, it's all about aligning with the right people. They do say that you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with. So I feel so much beauty and strength because
yeah.
Tosca, you're in my life. So thank you for that.
Oh, I feel the same way, Maureen. Thank you.
And if you're looking for a new venture, you're looking for a team that can help lift you up and help you learn and grow and become that most beautiful version of you, and or you're exploring a new business to complement, because that's what the gig economy is finding the complementary pieces of work that complete you, then don't hesitate to seek out to Tosca or myself, but reach out to those individuals that, like me,
Mhm.
perhaps had fear to reach out to those role models that you desire to learn from, work with, or at least, understand their journey to understand your journey better. Like I did when I reached out to Tosca, invited myself over to her home. How about being
Yeah,
bold about that, Tosca?
that was fun. I remember that day clearly.
Yeah. So as I would say to all of you, take that leap, get in your vehicle, whatever that vehicle metaphor for
Yeah,
life, and get
yeah.
moving, and you won't regret it. So we encourage all of you to take action to grow your year so that you will seek and find the success that you deserve. And of course, my invitation to you, our invitation to you, is you can go to my website, Tosca. I'll finish with you, but you can go to mohagan.com and you can request to join Mo's team. It's a page. Check it out. Tosca,
Woohoo.
for those who want to find out more about joining your team, what can they do?
All right. Thank you so much, Maureen. Do go visit Maureen, actually, because she's amazing. And I'm at toscareno.com, or I'll give you an email. You can reach out to me at support@toscarenomedia.com as well. I answer all my emails.
I know you do. Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. This is an incredibly flourishing conversation. I learned so much today. Tosca, you have a new sort of energy around
Yeah.
one of your courageous goals this year. I'm so glad that
Mhm.
we got to uh, the word I'm looking for is lost, but to validate that today.
Yes. Yeah.
So thank you. And I hope that for all of you here, you will join us next time and we'll keep the conversation going. A moment with Mo. Thank you, Tosca, for the incredible golden moments. And until next time,
Thank you.
stay well, all.
Thank you, Maureen.